For today's UI video, I am going to be designing a calculator, and I'm actually going to be designing it in the Claymorphic UI style. This is a style that I came across on YouTube. I watched a tutorial and then I just made it myself. And hopefully, if you watch this video, you'll be able to make it too. For this challenge, you're supposed to design a calculator. It can be any type of calculator for any type of device. I'm going to just do a standard calculator for a phone, but it's really up to you. Now, the first thing you should always do is look for sources of inspiration. I already knew that I wanted something very playful, fun, and girly, so I found mock-ups of styles like that. And I decided to go after a style like this just because it was very minimalist, but I really wanted to enhance it because this design looks quite flat. So I learned a bit about a style called Claymorphism, and it's basically this very bubbly, squishy looking style. I think maybe I was hungry that day or something, but I kept thinking about food and about things like bubblegum and just really wanted to design something in that style. So there is a YouTube video that you can watch, and I'll link it down below, from a really cool YouTuber who's got amazing UI skills, so I really recommend it. But just to give you the crash course, I have some screenshots here of things that you have to do to make these elements look like the Claymorphic style. So it's all a play on corner radiuses and shadows. So you'll notice that there are really big corner radiuses here, and they're really smooth and round. And then there are 2 inner shadows and 1 outer shadow. And that is what's used to create this 3D effect. And all of the shadow colors are a play on either the element or the background. And to start off, you essentially create a shape, round the corners, pull out the edges, and then add the shadows. So I'm going to show you how to do that and what I made. So what I made was this, super cute. I used a plugin to grab the hand and also a plugin to make the mockup. If you're curious what it was, I used one called Clay Mockups 3D for the calculator, and I think I used Iconify or Icons 8. Yeah, it was Icons 8 illustrations to get the hand. So play around with those if you're interested. Now I want to show you how I made my screen. So the top element was just from another plugin. I just dragged and dropped it in, and it's a component, so it was really easy. And then to make the numbers, I just used the text tool, typed in the numbers, changed the weight, so I made it lighter for the actual calculation part, and then a bolded, bigger font for the total. Now, the fun and more difficult part are the actual buttons. And I'm going to show you how I made them. So let's look here. I've already started with my shape. So I just drew a square, and the easiest way to draw a square, instead of just, drawing it like this where the edges and everything can adjust, you should actually hold down Shift while you do it. Oh, let me start over. If you hold down Shift while you drag, it'll keep the dimensions and keep it as a square. And then to round the corners, you're going to change the radius up here. So I actually have, I think it's a radius of 14, and my edges are at 61, or my length and width is at 61. The next thing that I did was I colored the background. I just grabbed my color dropper here and clicked on my old design to grab the same color, and did the same thing for my letter C. Now let's add the drop shadow. So we'll do this one first. I'm going to click Effects, Drop Shadow, and then I'm going to change it to X2, which you'll see it move to the right. I'm going to change it to Y2. It's going to move up a little bit. And then I'm going to keep the blur at 4. I noticed in the YouTube video that The blur was always twice the size of the X and Y axis values. So I think if you're doing, an X value of 4, a Y of 4, then your blur should be 8. That's the pattern that I noticed in the video. So that's what I'm doing. And now for my backdrop. You want to stay away from using just like black as your shadow. So what's best to do is actually to use your color dropper, get the color of your background, and then just find a darker shade of that. So I'm just gonna go here. And it's really up to you on how dramatic you want the the drop shadow to be. I just decided I want it to be very dramatic because I wanted everything to look like Tic Tacs. So that's why it looks like that. Now we're going to add the 2 inner shadows, one in the top left corner and one in the bottom right. So let me add an effect. I'm going to put inner shadow. And then I'm going to leave it as 2, 2, and 4. And here I'm going to grab my color picker. And now I'm going to use the color from the inside, the green. But again, I'm going to use a slightly darker shade. All right, perfect. Next, we're going to add our second inner shadow. So I'm going to click plus again. I believe it is this one. Yes. I'm going to click inner shadow. And now I'm going to do the opposite. So before I had 2 and 2, so now I'm going to do -2 and -2, and it should show up in the bottom left corner, and it does. And now for my color, I'm going to actually choose the shade of the shadow that I put on the inside and slightly darken that. So let me move this out of the way and darken it a bit. I want it to be darker. Perfect. And there you have it, guys. It's super easy. Oh, let me just fix my drop shadow a little bit. Why did that change? Okay, well, let me just fix that. And put this again, darken. There we go. There we go. Yeah, so I really hope that this helped. And if you're curious about the background is just a color fill, but I changed it from solid to linear, and I just put it from white to pink. There you have it. Good luck, guys.
You know the drill. Like, comment, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for supporting me and the channel. I will see you guys next time. Bye!